as people have نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. أربعين النووي. So Imam Nawawi rahmatullahi alayhi. Imam Nawawi, one of the greatest of the Imams from Shafi'i school. He was born in 631 and he died at a very young age, actually, about 45 years in 667. And his name is Abu Zakaria Muhyiddin Yahya ibn Sharaf al-Nawawi. And he was born in a place called Nawa, which is in Syria, Dimashq. And that is why he's called An-Nawawi, from Nawa. He was a faqih, muhaddis, Sufi, a great Imam. And he memorized Quran, as was the practice of people of those days, at a very young age. And he has shuyukh from his family. And he was so upset if people were the kids of that time, would pull him for games and sports and play. He wouldn't like doing that. He would cry, actually. He would try to avoid it. And that's when this great Imam, Az-Zarkashi, he said that this child is hoped to be the brightest and the most ascetic man of his time, and the one to give great benefits to Muslims. And from that time onwards, the parents and the uncles, they started teaching him with more devotion and attention. He studied a lot in Nawa until the age of 18. Then he went to different places in the Muslim world, studied all the different sciences. He became master really in every subject. And he started teaching in Ashrafi school, and his reputation was amazing. And he was a very pious man. He performed his Hajj, and he had great teachers like Al-Ambari and Al-Maqdisi. And then he spent 2 years, he said, without lying on the ground, meaning that he wouldn't go for sleep. He would just sleep, sitting, hanging here and there, not regularly on the bed, or just like, the people who would sleep minimally, really. And very simple life. He only possessed a turban and a long gown, that's it. That's what he left behind. And he wouldn't take any money from the teaching that he would deliver to different madrasas for many, many years. There was King Zahid. He asked him to come to the kingdom, to the office, and then to the palace and sign a fatwa. And he looked at the fatwa and he refused. He was a very slim and thin man. So the king actually commanded him, but he refused plainly. So he got so upset. How could you do that? And then he said certain things which were quite offensive to king. So the king even got more angry. And he said, because it contains clear oppressions, I can't sign it. That I would discharge you from all the positions. He said, that's fine. He didn't own any position anyway. He was not doing anything for material gains. And but he felt that the king would normally kill in those days without any trouble, but he couldn't do anything to him. And someone asked him, why did you not? He said, I actually felt very low in front of him. Such was the stature of Imam that he couldn't feel like doing anything to him. And he was given this title of Muhyiddin, the one who brings the religion back to life, enliven the religion. So he said that I would hold accountable everyone who give me this title. So don't call me Muhyiddin, I don't like it. So he was so humble in that sense when he was given the title. He was a proper renunciant, means that he was a Zahid. He would refrain from materialism. He actually never married. He would say that if I were to do that, I might not be able to benefit the way I've been doing. And that is why in Shafi'i school, marriage is like a part of Aqd. Aqd means a contract. So they say this is like Aqd, buy, like when you sell and buy. And when you do that, it is up to you. It's not rewarding. It's not a religious activity. Buying a mobile phone, it's not a religious activity. You just do it, whatever. So say nikah is like that. According to Imam Shafi'i, that's what he followed the school of. So that is why he never married. Obviously, in Hanafi school, it is considered to be ibadah. It is part of ibadah, and that is why you get the reward of doing the nikah. But anyway, they have their own ways of looking at things. But anyway, so Imam Nawawi has written a lot of stuff. It's so amazing. At the age of 45, he passed away. He was already written major books, big texts, and his work on hadith is such that he's from those people whose actions are just being accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You feel amazed by that, because whatever he has written, for example, for the beginners, he has written 40 hadiths, which we will inshallah ta'ala cover. Then for the people in between, not the scholars, but like in the common men, after the 40 hadiths, they go on to the second stage, which is Riyadus-Salihin, again, most widely accepted. Now, many people, hundreds of people, and Muhaddisun has written on 40 hadith, but his 40 hadith is the most widely known and accepted. And no one, if you mention Arba'in, people would just say Arba'in means Imam Nawawi's Arba'in, although Arba'in is a category of book of hadith, which is 40 hadith in a book. And then based on that, many scholars has compiled a 40 hadith collection. Imam Nawawi did the same, and it was him that got widespread acceptance among the Ummah. Then he wrote something quite detailed, which is Sharh Sahih Muslim. So Imam Muslim's Sahih Muslim, he has written the commentary on that. And you know what? If you say Sahih Muslim's commentary to any scholar, the first book they would say is Imam Nawawi's Al-Minhaj. And that's very unusual for a scholar of hadith to have all of his books in hadith accepted like that. So whatever he has done has been actually widely accepted, mashallah. So some of his students, Imam Mizzi is one of the greatest of the Imams, and as I said, he died of illness, and he was only 44, 45, and he was buried in his local place, in Nawa in Syria. He forbade people having any tomb erected on his grave, but people will feel like doing it out of the love that they have for him. But it so happened was just destroyed once after the other several times, till they accepted that, you know what, leave it flat, and they left it flat, mashallah. And so Imam Nawawi rahmatullah alayhi, in his Muqaddimah, which we will cover, he mentioned this hadith. The hadith has some weakness, but despite that, he mentioned it. Man hafiza ala ummati 40 hadithan min amri diniha ba'athahu Allah fi zumrat al-fuqaha'i wal-ulama'i. And in another riwayah, ba'athahu Allah 'aliman faqih. Wa fi riwayah, wa kuntu lahu yawm al-qiyamati shafi'an wa shahida. So this is what Imam Nawawi brought in his introduction to the book, which we will cover inshallah, the whole introduction in Arabic. And the reason I'm doing that in Arabic initially, so that you could have a bit of taste and idea about the words of the scholars, because there's a blessing in those pious souls, the way they've written things. And that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them this talaqqi bil qubul, the acceptance, which has been carrying on even after the 800, 900 years that they've left the world, mashallah. So we will cover the muqaddimah through his writing, inshallah. Anyway, so he said that the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that whoever memorized 40 hadith from my ummah, whoever from my ummah memorized 40 hadith about the deen, about the religion, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would raise him among the category of fuqaha and ulama. He's considered to means 40 hadith, he knows in and out of it, and he understood the ruling, so he's like a faqih. And in another riwayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would raise him as alim and faqih. In another riwayah, I will be an intercessor for him on the day of judgment. So this is the blessing of 40 hadith. This is where the idea of 40 hadith coming. And as I said, the hadith has some weakness, but it has got acceptance, widely accepted by the ulama, and that is why more than few hundred actually scholars have written 40 hadith collection. And Imam Nawawi's Arba'in is the ultimate one which everyone has accepted, inshallah ta'ala. So inshallah ta'ala, we leave that there, and next week we will do the muqaddimah of the book, so that we can start the book, inshallah ta'ala.